And yes, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We'll see and wait for someone to show up to let us know if they can see us and hear us okay. I just
Hello.
wanted to check. Mm, Yes, looks like it is working. Okay. So I would like to start with saying hello to everyone, and this is my great honor and pleasure to have the energizing interviews back. And my beautiful guest today is amazing woman that is on a very special and very specific mission, Kelly Morgan. Kelly Morgan is the activator of the divine feminine through the sacred womb space. She has impacted my life, my own personal life, in such a huge way through her teachings, through her own energy, through her own beauty and wisdom, that I can't thank you enough, Kelly. Therefore, it's even, bigger pleasure for me to have you as my guest on my own platform. I can't wait to ask you some very important questions because I believe that the wisdom that you share with other women should be literally spread like a beautiful, loving, sensual disease. Because there is so much we have forgotten, there is so much we have been stripped away from as women, and there is so much within us that we should start to remember and embody the sacred energy of the energy of our sacred power, because it is truly life changing. So welcome, Kelly. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for asking me. It's really an honor to be here. And I know we shared a moment just before we came online, so it feels even more special.
It is really special. Kelly, before I'm gonna start asking those questions that I'm pretty sure will open up and stretch the awareness of many women, could you share with us how did it start with for you that you actually stepped on that path and became the mentor for the divine feminine?
Yes, it was really a surprise for me. I was before working in banking in London for many years. It feels like another life it was.
Kelly.
And I moved to Ibiza 11 years ago, which is an island just off Spain. And I was doing fitness and detox retreats, very successful, very business. We had busy. We had 500 clients a year. But one night I was asleep and this voice woke me up, and this booming voice said, "It's your purpose to awaken people's sacral chakra." And I get a bit emotional when I say that because it was really like powerful and strong. And I didn't know what that fully meant at the time. And then I had a miscarriage and I was in my late 30s, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's my only and last chance to have a baby, because we're really conditioned as women as to what our abilities are.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I had a healing on my womb, and I thought I was just going to have a nice, soft, gentle healing. But what happened was I started to remember all of this wisdom about stars and equinoxes and very strong past lifetimes, and people coming to me and sharing wisdom. And so it took me a few years to integrate that. And it's still happening, as you just said before we
Mhm.
started. There's more things to be downloaded and integrated.
Mhm. This is such a beautiful story. Although obviously miscarriage is not a pleasant experience for any woman, look how much this little soul, came to gift you with. Really, um, Kelly. I had the beautiful opportunity to win. I won actually one of your programs, and then I joined your self-study course as well. But I wanted to share with others that before I met Kelly, I started channeling the divine feminine ascendant masters, and um, what was happening for me, I went through similar experience, but it was probably much slower. It was like extended, so I was starting to remember myself, the sacred knowledge. And I remember literally just stamping on the topic of sacred sexuality, the sacred energy, the sacred sexual energy. And I just felt, I need a mentor. I need a guidance here on earth. I need someone. And that's when I met you. So it was so beautifully, divinely planned. And I'm so grateful for that. But I have to say that it really became very clear to me that as women, for so many generations, we've been stripped away from something that is our birthright, from something that is so divine, sacred, and that something is our sexual womb space. This is our sacred womb space and our sexual energy. If you could tell us a bit more about the importance that this is not the reproductive organ within our physical body, but it is actually a very powerful, the most powerful space within our body, and how we may connect with it and use it for ourselves in our life.
Yeah, of course. So the sacred womb space encompasses the physical organ, but it's beyond that. So I want to say, for women that don't have a womb, they still can connect to this sacred womb space. And, this is about us remembering that we are divine beings in a human body. And just like the great goddesses, the great cosmos, we are made how they are made. And in the universe, there is a great cosmic womb in the center of our galaxy, call it the center of the Milky Way, where things are birthed in and out of. And this sacred womb space within our body is the holograph, is the direct imprint of that. It's how things are divinely brought into creation. It's almost like the inner throne of our divine feminine. This is where we can physically embody her and meet her and express from her.
So beautiful. Yes. Kali, how can we bring the awareness of the sacred sexuality back to women? There's such a Oh, are we back?
Yes.
Are we back? Hello?
I think we're back. I don't know if it's my connection or yours. I know StreamYard sometimes can be a bit like this.
Hello?
Hey, yes.
Yes. Okay. I think I was gone for a wee while. I'm back now. Did I manage to ask the question, Kelly?
I think I got you at about our sacred sexual energy.
Yes. What it really is, what should be it used for, and why we should really look after the womb space, our sexuality, our sexual life, and the energy.
Yeah, of course. So sexual energy is life force itself. It's what brings us into creation. It's the energy that flows through our body that creates us, that brings us into being. And it has an immense power. It is life force itself. And isn't it funny how life force, the very thing that brings us into being, has the thing that's been shamed, put into damnation, and we've been cut off from this power and cut off from our womb space. So many women are disconnected from their womb space, and they find it weird or funny when I say it. What's your relationship like with your womb? That's no accident, because if we realized our divinity and how powerful we are to create, then let's say some of the powers that be wouldn't need the intermediaries between us and our infinite power. So for me, that's why we've been cut off from this space. When we get reconnected to this space, we are able to bring ourselves out of all of that shadow and shame that the woman holds around her body, which, is, when we look at the sacred feminine traditions, they really honor the body. They love the body. There's whole schools of divine feminine that is about honoring the body, because the body is where we bring things into manifestation. And so reconnecting to this, you realize the infinite magnificence that you are. You realize that you are a blessing. And so all of that lack of confidence, that self-doubt, that questioning, that inner critic dissolves away, because you're able to remember and connect to that you are a goddess embodied, and what that means, not on an ego level, I'm a goddess, but on a very physical, visceral level.
Beautiful. And how can we better look after our sexual energy and our wombs?
Yeah. So the first thing would be to connect to your sexual energy and your womb space, and the reason, and understand why you're not connected to it. One, there's been as I said, a purpose to disconnect, and secondly, this space is a place that holds a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
So the womb has a special transmutational energy. It's the only place on earth where spirit comes into matter. And so this energy has the power to transmute, to upgrade, and to change ourselves. And often it's kind of become a bit magnetic to absorb the traumas and trials and tribulations of the world. So a lot of women have experienced sexual trauma of some kind, and that can be from actual rape and sexual abuse, and it's a lot higher percentage than we realize, to having unloving sexual experiences, feeling disrespected, feeling dishonored. All of these things, the whole scale of that, basically distorts the womb field. So for me, that is a way of first connecting and then cleansing and releasing all of these distortions. And then starting a new relationship with your womb as the seat, as the throne place of your divine feminine, and realizing that you have a direct emanation, a direct connection to the goddess through your womb space when that is the space. And she will guide you in your life and help you create very clearly.
Absolutely. That's so beautiful and so important to actually be aware of that. I wanted to add another question on top of on top of the topic of looking after your womb space. How important it is to really look after our sexual life in terms of choosing partners and how many partners we are sharing our sexual energy with.
Really, really good question, because it's interesting, the sexual revolution in the 60s and the feminist liberation movement, with the introduction of the contraceptive pill, with women feeling, hey, I can do what I want. It led to a big rise in us enjoying, let's say, a free love. But what that piece of that revolution forgot was the sacredness of self. And when we exchange in sexual union with someone, we are exchanging energy. And I have found, working with hundreds of women now, that often they contain within them the energetic imprints of their past sexual partners. And that can be not on purpose, but unconsciously. A man is often projecting his unprocessed emotions and wounds into a woman, even if he loves her, because of the energetic exchange of masculine projecting, feminine receiving. We're actually receiving a lot of this. So how to take care of that then is really when you connect to your womb and you realize that you are sacred and magnificent, you know that you are a temple, and within that temple, the Holy of Holies is the womb space. So it's like your womb won't let any distorted masculine frequencies in. That is what I have found and what my clients have found. So I feel that when you've connected and awakened this space, you just almost can't disrespect yourself.
Absolutely. I felt exactly like that, almost like in a very protective way after doing all the work with you on my womb. But what I also wanted to ask is, I'm working with women mainly on the past traumas. I'm currently starting a new group where we will be releasing the traumas from the inner child, inner teenager, and ancestral lines. And it is really, maybe not surprising, but worth mentioning that a lot of women actually are living now in celibacy. And that happened for them. That is happening for them either through a conscious choice or unconscious choice, where I think it is really connected to the to this very natural now rise of the divine feminine. And it's almost like the womb is making this decision for us, that there is no, you know, nothing going to, there's nothing that is going to happen right now, because we really need to prepare this space, this sacred space. Can you talk us through a little bit more the importance of the celibacy and how it actually heals and help us, you know, when it comes to healing?
Yes. So it really is kind of simple. If you are in wounded aspects of self and you're disconnected from your sexual energy and you're not holding yourself as sacred in your womb space, then essentially those relationships that you're going to be entering into are, let's say, of a lower frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be attracting in wounds that trigger your wounds and creating more distortion in the sacred womb space. So what conscious or unconscious celibacy does is it helps you when you're working consciously through your wounds, especially when you're working to heal your space, is that it gives you, it's like you're in a chrysalis, you know, before the butterfly. You're in a chrysalis and it's like, no one's going to be coming in here until I fully know thyself. And, you know, I'm working with clients privately at the moment, and they've said, I don't want to be near my partner as I do this. It's a natural response. And it's because once you get to know yourself fully in this new vibration, this new frequency of the divine feminine embodied, then you can go out into the world and make those conscious choices. But it's almost like a protection mechanism. And interestingly, when we look at the ancient priestesses schools, and I'm thinking of Mother Mary and her mother Anne, they practiced celibacy in order to start to build up the power of this womb. So just like if men practice sexual continence by not, you know, fully ejaculating in orgasm, it preserves the life force. And so there's a lot of being able to build up energy in the pristineness of what you create when you come into celibacy.
Yes, that actually reminded me about the book that I'm reading. It's called the Circle of the Feminine Power, and it's actually being it's there. There's this chapter when it's being described how in ancient times women would build up this sexual sacred energy, and then go into the hieros gamos, you know, into the temples and invite men, and this kind of pure sexual creative force within them would be given to a specific man that would then use this energy to create something really extraordinary. You know, this is how powerful this creative force within us is. It can literally create miracles. It can create energetic shifts for the man that we decide to step into the hieros gamos within his own physical life. It is an amazing exchange and very it's like you can't put the money on it, right? You can't put anything because this is so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, this is where these ancient priestess traditions come in. They were the anointees. So this is a bit controversial, but Mary Magdalene anointed Jesus Christ. She anointed him into that Christhood through sacred sexual union. Actually, she's anointing him with her womb elixirs. And it's just like you mentioned.
Womb elixirs. It's so, I love it.
Yes. And it's just like what you mentioned, you know, in Beltane, in ancient England, Beltane was the time of of creation, of bringing together that Hieros Gamos. It was often the high priestess of Avalon, of Glastonbury, that would initiate the king. So if you look at the stories around King Arthur, it was the priestess Morgana that initiated King Arthur through this sacred sexual union.
It's amazing, you know, Kelly. I mean, to have you as a mentor and a way shower, you know, for all the divine feminines is amazing. But I really, really wish that we could have the sacred schools back. The
Yeah.
physical schools, you know, the ancient knowledge being passed over to younger girls, you know, that are being prepared for this role of divine feminine. How amazing would that be?
Yeah, well, they're coming back, the return of the temples in these different formats, you know, whether it's through me or other mentors. That is really what I've been shown is actually to bring back a temple, you know, where these things can be shared and learned and honored.
I can visualize that, Kelly. We could put my paintings on the walls, open the portals.
Exactly, yes.
Do that. Let's do that.
That's what they had, though. My friend just recently went to the Hathor temple in Egypt, and I knew she was going there. And I said, "Look, when you go, can you bring me in your prayer?" And what then? I didn't know what day she was going, but one night I dreamt about Hathor and the temple all night, and then she texted me in the morning, and she had been there. But in the temples, they have—I don't know if you've been. They have what they call these multi-dimensional doorways, but they are essentially like your paintings opening up portals into different dimensions.
I don't think I said it by accident then.
Yes.
Maybe there is something happening behind the scenes, you know, that we don't know yet. Well, let's leave it to the flow. I think another important question, although this platform is mainly dedicated to women, and today we are focusing on our feminine womb space, men has a womb space too, right?
Yeah.
Let's
So
talk
men
about.
have what we call the hara, or
Mhm.
in Chinese medicine, the tantien. And it's essentially this place where that they create from. And actually, I've started working with men now as well, to clear this space and activate it. And I've really noticed a common theme with men, and it's heartbreaking actually, is that when I work on this space with them, it's like this space has been blown open, and it's like it's open and wounded, and they've been really disconnected from their sacred power as well. And so absolutely, they can connect to this space, clear this space, and start to reclaim their sacred power.
This is so beautiful. I didn't know you started working with men. This is amazing. I really feel that looking at the collective energies and everything that is happening right now, I see within women that are coming to my broadcast that there is this big transition happening of them releasing this distorted masculine from within them, where actually most of their lives they've been operating from a distorted masculine because of what happened throughout the generations before us in those different now timelines. And I see how much struggle there is in terms of releasing the control, in terms of trusting, you know, surrendering. This is literally something that obviously we experience maybe in different incarnations, but let's be honest, a lot of us been born into this life and immediately put into this masculine distorted energy, not knowing, completely not knowing, not feeling the feminine aspects from within. And as much as there's, you know, a lot of struggle, a lot of them letting go of this control, it comes also from the fact that the divine feminine still doesn't trust the masculine, and there's such a big conflict in between. And it's as you said, they're not the ones that should be blamed or judged, that they also need this healing and support, and we can only do this healing and we can only go through this transition together, not separately.
Absolutely, because, I really share this a lot in my teachings. Who has benefited from this distorted masculine paradigm? It's really a few at the top that took the power of the sacred masculine and of the sacred feminine, diminished the sacred feminine, and kept it for themselves. And they're the ones that created big corporations, religious structures, financial systems. And that has been at the detriment of both men and women. It's a humanity problem. And so it takes both men and women to reclaim both their sacred masculine and their sacred feminine power. And like you said, to create this harmony from within, because right now there's a lot of an internal struggle going on for men and women internally in terms of who's in charge. But in fact, they should be making love.
Absolutely. Do you know what? Yesterday I had this moment. I had a very eventful day yesterday, but I'm still at the phase where where I feel very connected to my divine feminine. But when we are living throughout this kind of busy day, and we forget and we go back to the old, ways of being, I like to just stop, and then when I'm breathing, I like to imagine that with each breath there's like thousands and millions of little flowers blooming inside of me, and that kind of helps me to reconnect, with the divine self. And yesterday, when I was driving, I was actually communicating with my own masculine, energy, and I actually found that I'm still not fully trusting my own masculine energy. But this is always for me not an obstacle. I don't see it as an obstacle. I see it as an opportunity to kind of connect with my wholeness, with myself. And do you know what? There was this moment where I was really allowing more surrender to come in, and I felt this merging of those two energies and so much love. And the new feeling that came to me yesterday was this feminine energy, almost like making herself comfortable within the masculine. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. But from a mentor like you, what can we do for ourselves as women to allow more of this surrender, more of letting go, more of feeling safe?
Yeah. Well, it takes working on both energies. So the first thing is, when it comes to being in our divine masculine, how are we providing for ourselves? How are we providing, safety? And because the masculine is about structure and organizations, that's very practical things like a home, like income, regular income, food, regular providing for self, so that then we can say to the feminine within, it's safe to let go at these particular points, and she can surrender. Often she can't, our inner feminine can't surrender because that inner masculine is not providing. He's nowhere to be seen, or he's not giving safety and comfort and giving to us. So the masculine is really about being in support of our feminine so that she can fully open up to this divinity that she holds.
And when you say that the divine masculine is not showing up for the divine feminine, I find it's very common for single parents, for example, because we don't have this physical representation of this masculine. How can women help themselves with that? Because
Yeah.
it is just an illusion. This is when I speak to women, or even when I was, speaking to myself, when I was grasping all those dynamics between those two energies, I was just saying, it's just an illusion, Dom. This is just a physical expression of this, and this is a physical expression of the masculine, but it's all one. It's flowing through everyone and everything that exists. It doesn't matter that there is no physical representation. It still is.
Yes. And so that is about letting go of illusions. Yeah, we have had heartbreak. If we're single mums, it is, I'm a single mum. Okay. So I'm talking from experience. I'm not just saying, yeah, I
Same here.
know. I know that the struggle is real when you have to provide, when you want to take care of your child, when you have to take care of everything. But what I find is we can get into a lot of victim energy about that and focus on the missing, like you say, like he's not there, he's missing, he's let me down again for babysitting, or, you know, I'm just thinking of some examples, you know, and so it's very easy to get trapped in this victim dynamic with this external thing. And so then the thing is to focus on where you can create more support for yourself, because this one person isn't there in support for the divine masculine. And the more that you look at that, him not being there to support, the more you're going to create it. So then what support can you create around your life, around your business? You know, I do things, practical things, I'm thinking of masculine, like do babysitting swaps and get support in where I need. And then I can start to see, and call that inner divine masculine in to say, hey, I need to provide. It's time to, you know, bring money on the table so that I can provide. Then my divine feminine can relax more.
Yeah, I actually do very, very similar. This is like almost like an internal dialogue between those two energies. And I just wanted to highlight that if you are a feminine, or if you're a woman or a man that feels or is aware of this inner conflict, you know, between those two energies, which what I actually found during my work with women is what we do as children when we incarnate and come into a specific family constellation. We often copy the relationship of our parents into our own feminine and masculine energies. So, for example, if our parents divorce or they lived in a conflict, those two energies will be mimicking that conflict. So I really would like to highlight too, it's important to not only be aware of certain dynamics or that one energy is empowered, the other one is disempowered or whatever, but to practice this trust in between, to truly work on this inner relationship. It's so hugely important. There must be an action, because obviously, like with every creation, like with every manifestation, there is this action needed. You really need to take aligned kind of steps in order to create this new version of you, which is, you know, having those two energies aligned, married, you know, in a passionate, loving relationship. So it's really important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've really hit the nail on the head there.
Yes.
Mhm.
Right. I had another question on my mind, but I think it slipped. But nevertheless, there's so many things I would like to ask you anyway. Um, how do you, from your experience, from the work that you do with women, which is so fundamental for any woman that is on the path to stepping into her divine feminine, on the path in connecting with the Christ consciousness, um, this your work is absolutely, as I said, absolutely crucial. But from your perspective, the work that you do on a daily basis, what can you say about the current energies, where we are at when it comes to this collective transition and change, this big shift and change?
Yeah. Oh, this is juicy. So, the divine feminine is rising within each of us at the moment. And what that is resulting in is the veils are slipping. So even the people that didn't feel very intuitive, they're able to see more and feel more. And so you can either work with this energy consciously in terms of inviting her in, clearing the blocks and wounds that are stopping you from being in your divine feminine, changing how you work. Because if we've been in a distorted masculine paradigm, that is all about result focus, tangibles, you know, making money. Yeah, yeah. Like it's almost like a kind of psychopathic energy, because it's forgetting everyone else, me, myself, and my
Like
own.
a horse.
Yes. So if you are stuck in that old paradigm, then things will start to crumble. Like we are seeing civilizations and things crumble now on a individual and a collective level. So the way through it is to start to heal her and call her. That saying, I take one step towards God and he'll take 1,000 steps towards me. It's the same thing, taking those conscious steps so that you can work with this change constantly, consciously. And then also, it's like it's calling you into authenticity, because the veils are slipping. So, being your whole self, not trying to be perfect or one-sided, hiding the bits of you that aren't working, being your authentic self. This is a real call for wholeness, and if we look at the Hathor Sekhmet, so Hathor and Sekhmet, some say that that's the same goddess, and Hathor is this loving, the mother of civilization, taking care of her subjects, bringing in love, compassion. And then her counterpart is Sekhmet, and that is like when Hathor's had enough, she's going to call on that Sekhmet power, and Sekhmet is just going to take everything down, and that is the feminine power that people are frightened of. It's this chaos energy, and the feminine is responsible for creation and destruction, and she will destroy everything if it's not working out. Okay. And so, to avoid us going into this energy of complete destruction, there's an invitation now, and that invitation will continue to run shorter, to work consciously and start to make very fundamental changes.
Totally. And actually, you touched upon, you said one word, and I now remember the question. Is the shadow of the feminine. I would like to talk a little bit more about the shadow feminine, because during the course that I did with you, that really blown my mind, because I've understood so much more about myself. So the shadow archetype of the feminine is being created where this creative and sexual sacred energies are being suppressed. For example, it may also come obviously from the traumas, not even ours, but even ancestral, but it's stuck on us because we are here to release it. Can you talk us through a little bit more how to recognize, how the women can recognize, and men, if you could share with us as well, how to recognize that we are actually operating from the shadow?
Oh, yes. This is my favorite subject, distorted feminine, because it is such a murky world. Okay, so distorted feminine, classic distorted feminine, how that shows up practically in your life is trying to get love and attention and approval from outside of yourself. So that can be love from men or love from others. It can be accolades, a promotion, a title, a particular level of income, a particular level of launch. It can come from status symbols. So the feminine, the distorted feminine, is starving. Okay, she is starving, and she is empty, and she has been shattered and traumatized by life. And that creates a distortion where, instead of remembering the ancient wisdom of how to self-source and fill oneself, she's seeking to go and get that outside of herself. So this obsession with external things, addictions, shopping, money, status, is how it shows up. Now, it also, and no one likes to admit that. No one likes to admit they care. They all say, yeah, I'm here for love and peace.
Yeah,
And
I agree, but I always say to my guests or to women that come to my platform that the shadow integration is a beautiful actually process that we came here to do, to kind of balance all of that. And this is that comes to us just as an experience, not a bad or good, just as an experience. We should always value the shadow within us too, because this is the greatest teacher.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're able to, and then because she's trying to seek things externally, it gets into jealousy and competition with women. And this is where the sisterhood is completely been torn down, tearing other women down, feeling jealous, comparing ourselves, not feeling enough. And so when you are able to heal that, you're able to remember you connect to your inner knowing and confidence and love from within and love from the divine, that all these external things don't matter as much. And so you're able to create from joy, you know, and this desire force. I desire what I desire, rather than this need and lack and trying to fill oneself up. So that's why it is such a beautiful healing.
And how does it show up within men?
Oh, okay, so I've worked with a few men and I've seen the wounded masculine. So trying to get attention and love from others, wanting to be puffed up by women. So if they are heterosexual men, then they're almost like lazy fat cats sitting there waiting for the woman to come and, you know, adore him, take care of him, give him compliments. That is what it's like, wanting and needing attention. They can also show up as being very promiscuous or having several women, because they need this food, right, to fill up this void. And so they have several women, and especially like narcissistic relationships, often narcissistic men are really displaying wounded feminine trait of this wanting and needing, this kind of black hole. And yeah, that's how it can show up in men.
That's so interesting. I hope we didn't scare any of you. Make you aware of something that may literally change your life from one minute to another. No, I think it's really important. As I said, we are living on a planet of two polarities, and we usually experience both. The mastery here is to experience without the judgment, and then balance it, heal it and balance it. It's not about being perfect, it's about learning experience. And shadow integration is not about rejection of the shadow, it's about transmutation of the shadow and taking everything with gratitude that the shadow came here to offer to us. So it's really, really important. And as with every aspect of our lives, shadows will show up within our sacred sexuality too, the way we behave and interact in between each other. It's absolutely normal. It's okay. It's nothing to feel ashamed of, absolutely.
No.
Kelly, I would like to ask you about the symposium that you posted on your social media today, because this is just such an amazing opportunity for women and men. But before that, I just wanted to openly share with everyone that this broadcast will reach, especially women, because I had my experience as a woman working with Kelly as my mentor. When I say she literally, her coming into my life, her coming on to, and guiding me through this path was a life-changing event. It shocked me and surprised me because the changes were happening so fast for me. When I was going with Kali through this process, you have no idea how quickly you can really start to connect with your womb space, which is the throne of your divine feminine. And to me, it was more important because I feel like I was completely disconnected from her my whole this life. And what happened for me, I not only start to feel this femininity, this sensuality. I've been always very creative person, and oh my God, I can create miracles through my painting. So I know the potency of that force within me. But thanks to Kelly, I kind of I knew that I'm in the ocean, but now I'm swimming in the ocean. And funnily enough, when I went to visit California, when I touched the ocean there, when I went to the coast, I recognized my whole self. And it was the most profound, beautiful feeling I ever experienced. After that, my channelings, my dreams became clearer. Why? Because I start to trust. I stepped into the flow. Another funny aspect, I always was the woman that was wearing the trousers, right? And honestly, right now, I don't really feel that comfortable in the trousers, which is a funny aspect, but it's more about this internal change that helped me to trust the masculine and start to surrender more and feeling safe. There's so many changes that Kelly brought to my life. So if you're looking for a mentor, if you are a woman on the path to your on to step into your divine feminine self, she is the woman that can guide you with such a grace, with such a honor and respect. You will feel so safe with her, and the wisdom she shares is just amazing. That's why I think the sacred schools should be back, the temples, because I can already see you being the mentor then there. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to really highlight how profound this work that you did for me and with me was, how quick the changes were, like the speed of the light, the communication with the womb was so prominent, so beautiful, so pure. She was so responsive. Then she recalibrated everything. She just did it like by magic. So yes, I really would like to recommend Kelly as the way shower, the mentor for any divine feminine. And now I want you to share the details about this beautiful symposium, your new baby, your new creation, because I think everyone should join it.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for your really kind words. They really mean something. So
Mm.
thank you. Yeah, so I've put together this symposium. It's called Healing Beauty. And this is about healing the feminine heart to really empower ourselves in business, life, and love. I have 10 world-class speakers that have agreed to come and share with us. And I'm really honored because some of these speakers, they've been in things like The Secret. They have huge divine feminine programs themselves, but they've agreed to come together to really share this miraculous transformative symposium. And it's really for high performing entrepreneurs and ambitious professionals that are ready for the feminine to show the way. Some of the speakers I have Dr. John D. Martini, I have Maya Luna, Anaya Sophia, Lenka Lutonska, Akara Sophia, Sarah Negus, Diana Bewley, Diana Zugala, and some of these are my own mentors. And so we're
Mhm.
all coming together over 10 days from the 7th of April to share wisdom, activations, and upgrades. And it's free to sign up. We'll put a link below afterwards. You can come and join the symposium. And if you can't watch them live, you'll get the replays for a limited amount of time. So yeah, please come and join us and tell all your friends and colleagues.
Yes, I will. I will be there definitely. I mean, I will be running my own program at the time, but I put that already into my calendar, so I will be definitely joining through Zoom whenever I can or watching the replays, because this is such an amazing opportunity to really dive into this sacred knowledge, where Kelly really prepared speakers that are world class and can share their experiences and then their wisdom with you for free, as Kelly said. And it might be that it's going to sound a little bit, weird to you, but you will start to activate yourself. You will start to be activated and you will start to remember more, because the more you are exposed to this vibration of this wisdom they are sharing, the more is being activated within you. And remember that this is one of our incarnations, but we have the remembrance of the whole of the alpha and omega within us. So again, for any women who are looking for this kind of guidance, if you're looking for a mentor, there she is. um, and yeah, thank you so much, Kelly. It was such an honor and pleasure to have you as my guest. I'm looking forward to build that temple.
Yes, thank you. Well, I've said it out loud now, so it's going to happen. Thank you
I
so
see it. I can see it. I can honestly see it. It's either happening in different now, and I'm connecting to that, and it is actually existing in a different hologram. But let's bring it into this hologram.
much.
Why not?
Yeah.
You know that I believe in all that because I can do that through the
Yeah.
paintings. I'm gonna paint it, and there it is.
Yes, yeah. Well, when I got the message that I had to create a temple, I was like, oh my goodness, like how, like what? Yeah, how does that even happen? But like you say, it's in the etherics now, so it's about
Mhm.
bringing it into the physical
Yeah.
manifestation.
Do you know what? I honestly believe in everything, and I believe in our limitlessness, that we are limitless, and I believe in miracles. I am experiencing miracles. The more I surrender and I feel, very comfortable and safe within the masculine, it's almost like magic. You command and it happens.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's like, and there is this one painting that I have in my hall in my house called "And So It Is," and whenever I look at it, it's like, "So it is."
Oh, I love that.
All right, thank you so much, Kelly. I'm sure that your knowledge, everything that you've shared with us today, is going to help and reach those that need to hear everything that was mentioned in this interview. Thank you so much for sharing the space with me.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank
Much.
you, everyone, for watching. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.